Warning, the following presentation contains cold, hard truths that might change the way you think. Viewer discretion won't do you any good now. 3 years ago, the world was given this footage of a CGI buck-naked Norman Reedus picking up a baby on a beach and crying. And I've been pumped for this game ever since. There's never really been anything like Death Stranding, because for the longest time, we had absolutely no clue what it was. I mean, no fucking clue. As gameplay started to be revealed, we somehow found ourselves more confused as to what exactly this game is. Lead designer Hideo Kojima even tried to warn us, saying that players will feel lost at the beginning and might not have any fun until halfway through the game. The level of intrigue only increased. So now that it's been out for some time, what exactly is Death Stranding? Well, according to people that hated it, it's a bizarre, self-indulgent mess, a repetitive letdown, an irredeemable piece of garbage, a bloated, showy, post-apocalyptic melodrama, a contrived and frequently dull gameplay experience, a literal 80-hour fetch quest, endless dialogue. Oh, now you complain about dialogue? What about when this shit was released? Oh. But according to people that liked Death Stranding, it's a masterpiece and it's the birth of a new genre. It reinvents how video game design can work. It delivers on all fronts. It's unlike anything else out there right now. It's a genre-pushing work of art. It's one of the most important games of the decade. The most unique AAA game of the generation. It's a system seller. So how could anything, let alone a video game, be so polarizing? Well, it could have something to do with the fact that there is a very real crisis currently scorching our communities. A widespread, detrimental occurrence that threatens the fabric of our collective mental health and is killing proper judgment and reason, known only as micropenusian delusion. The truth is, Death Stranding might be so divisive because A, it's a story-heavy game, and the story is weird as shit, and B, the gameplay is very unique. And to fully understand the gameplay of Death Stranding, it helps to understand the story. A cataclysmic event called the Death Stranding has opened a doorway between Earth and an afterlife realm known as the Beach, which then unleashed invisible creatures called BTs, or beached things, that terrorize the planet and cause mass destruction called voidouts, which led to the collapse of society. So far, so good. This also unleashed an otherworldly rain called Timefall, which accelerates time for anything it comes into contact with. Survivors hide inside bunkers or have confined themselves to remote colonies, and they depend on a company called Bridges who send porters or couriers to deliver supplies, get rid of the BTs, and ultimately rebuild civilization. This is where you come in. You take on delivery after delivery, carrying supplies to people all around the map. You fight off the interdimensional attackers using grenades and bullets that are filled with your blood, urine, and feces. You connect people to the chiral network, which allows them to communicate to the rest of society via hologram. The more you expand and upgrade the chiral bandwidth in each area, the more things you'll be able to construct that make travel easier. You traverse the entire United States from coast to coast, overcoming obstacles and enemies, unlocking better and better gear, reconnecting people, and before you know it, what was once untamed wilderness is now a bustling sci-fi cityscape. That is Death Stranding. Oh, and a bunch of weird and trippy shit happens in the story. Now, if you are an average console gamer who just wants a simple, breezy experience, this might not be the game for you. But if you are into open-world, sandbox, crafting, story, or lore-heavy games, and just ones that attempt to do something new, you need to go out and buy this game right the fuck now. I mean, come on. How awesome is this? It's worth $60 just for this one cutscene, which will also give you nightmares for life. Yes, this is a game that is entirely fetch quests. That's the genius part. They took what could be considered the single most hated quest type in gaming history, the fetch quest, and made it so insanely complex, so open-ended, and so rewarding in its vast progression system and with what you're actually doing in the storyline that it makes for a highly satisfying and surprisingly addictive experience. In this game, you are able to carry boxes, carry people, throw boxes at people, throw your duty at people, lay down ladders and ropes, construct bridges and highways, set up generators or watchtowers, ride motorcycles, throw your duty at people, hunt for resources, throw your duty at people, fight terrorists and loot their stashes, throw your duty at terrorists, fight horrifying demonic sea creatures, fight zombie soldiers, soothe a baby, set up zip lines, help other players build structures, leave signs to help other players, or just to be silly, share items with other players, hang out in your room and play with toys, customize a hat, take a shower, rip off your toenail, drink Monster, eat floating maggots, make a duty to later throw at people, urinate until a giant mushroom pops up, jump off a cliff, die, and astral project back into your body. And that's just without spoiling anything major.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
On the surface, this game just looks like a guy walking across a plane carrying boxes. And if this were any other game, that is probably all it would be. But there is a lot of strategy involved in making these deliveries, namely, knowing what to bring and what not to bring. Does the mission require you to carry really heavy items? Well, then you might want to craft or find a vehicle. If you can only go on foot, do you use ladders and ropes, or can you just run the whole way? Maybe you don't want to do any deliveries and just want to casually gather resources to construct some roads or bridges that will make all your deliveries a lot easier. Maybe you're just going out to fight some horrifying thing. Then all you need is some guns and ammo. Maybe you're just going out to take a piss. All you need is a few bottles of liquid and some nice pissing glasses. But every trip is different, and there are so many different types of trips you can make. You can also take on multiple deliveries at a time, which really makes it feel like the game wants you to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Now, I do wish that you can shit out in the open as well. Having to go into the private room to do that is just not really my style. But what is most important in this game is how you carry your cargo. Before you find a nice truck to carry all your stuff in, you will have to carry everything on foot. So are you shifting weight to either side? Is everything on your back? The good news is you really don't have to put that much thought into this if you don't want to. You can always just auto-arrange your cargo. But let's say you're going in just a straight path with not a lot of turns. You could go with a configuration that values speed above balance. The carrying mechanics are just impressively complex. And it's great that you can always just hold L2 and R2 indefinitely to constantly be balanced. Now, there are definitely stretches of this game that might not contain a whole lot of combat, as only some of the BT and mule encounters are mandatory. But at the same time, you can also easily seek out combat whenever you want. You're always able to storm a mule camp, kick the crap out of everybody, and steal their junk. You can also go out and hunt BTs whenever you want. I've been able to kill 3 of them in under 20 minutes, just by aimlessly wandering around and looking for the black strands. This is of course a lot more doable after you get the multi-rocket launcher, which, spoilers, is a thing. Now, you are able to permanently clear areas of BTs, but you have to use the upgraded cufflinks to sever their umbilical cord. Mules can also be cleared out, but they do return after a long period of time. If you get eaten by a BT, you'll experience a void out, which is basically a massive crater that is blocked off by some kind of air wall, and this does go away eventually. But also, if you use a lethal weapon against a human enemy, you will eventually be forced to dispose of the body at the cremation facility. And if you don't, you will experience a massive void out, aka game over. But the fact that you're not supposed to kill any other human beings, and the game would rather have you knock them unconscious, semi-permanently, shows that the game's peaceful message not only exists in the storyline, but in the gameplay as well. And it's a message that is pretty different for the world of gaming.
To have this sort of game which seems to be non-violent in the more traditional way, something I've always thought was really interesting. I think thematically, the player is being invited into an experience that is very, very profound and very deep.
As soon as you're doing something and you're feeling safe, it's probably not worth doing. Some people just won't, they'll just play it because they want the thing that they think it is. But through osmosis, there's a feeling, there's a resonance, there's something about, like a vibration in it that tells you it's a bit more important.
Now, I think a lot of people who got frustrated at this game were honestly just not playing it properly. The most common criticism of this game is that it's a boring, frustrating walking simulator, and anyone who says that clearly has a granular penis, as in the size of a grain of sand. A powder penis. But what it really shows is that they're not taking advantage of all the different ways of travel, because most of them are optional. But I can't stress enough how less frustrating the game becomes if you take the time to construct some bridges and highways. In fact, one of my favorite things to do in this game is to just ignore deliveries for a bit, go out, set up a watchtower, scan the surrounding area, find some shit, and add it to the autopaver to build some roads. I could do this all day, or just go loot a bunch of mule camps. It's also smart to continuously pour your resources into these construction projects because there is a limit to how much you can even store in the bank, which of course can be expanded over time. But as Joel Osteen says,
if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
But it is very easy to play this game and not know what you're doing. Because you're given so many different ways to go about reaching the objective, it is totally up to you to dictate the game's difficulty. The more prepared you are for deliveries, the less pissed off you'll be. If you don't have the foresight to bring a weapon, some ladders, at least one climbing rope, a portable printer or two, and save your game often, you might hate this game and think that it's the most frustrating piece of shit ever made. If you're being pummeled by some uphill mountain trek, go around it. If your cargo is too much to handle, maybe think about making multiple trips.
Make 2 trips. Make 2 trips. Don't pile up at all, and you'll drop stuff, and you're dropping cantaloupe on the floor. Take half. Go in the house, drop it off, then go back to the car. Make 2 trips.
Or if you're getting frustrated from all the BTs ambushing you and dragging you down, just let them drag you down and fight these things like a man, you babies. Speaking of babies, I think it's important to know that this is one of those games where you spend many hours having a premature baby strapped to your chest, and where this seems like it would be really annoying. It's actually great. I love this little piece of shit. The Bridge Baby, or BB, is your link between this world and the afterlife. Since it hasn't technically been born yet. It senses enemy BTs before they emerge, and it even points in the direction they're in and bugs out when they're really close by. It's kind of like the pod in Nier Automata, only it does way less, and it's nothing like that. Every time you stumble or fall down, your BB starts crying and you need to soothe it so it doesn't catch autotoxemia and cease functioning. This seems like something that is annoying to do, but the baby is so cute and realistic that I feel weirdly gratified after making it feel better. And the more you soothe your BB, the stronger your bond grows and the more helpful it becomes. And where it seems like you do this a lot in the game, I actually finished the game with only having done it around 40 times. That's not so bad. That's like once an hour on average. Pretty realistic, actually. This game is just really pleasing to the senses. And the game has what might be my favorite sound design I've ever heard in anything ever. I could just listen to this all day. Right? Every time you beat a quest, there are so many little sights and sounds rewarding you for what you just did. This might be what makes the game so addictive. It's like you're getting brainwashed into doing another mission just by hearing all these pleasing sounds. But the most thematically appropriate aspect of this game is its online component. This is a single-player game, but one that allows players to interact together on the same map. You never see other players physically present, but things that they build or leave lying around will show up in your world and vice versa. And things that are actually helpful too. You can leave ladders and ropes lying around, generators, watchtowers, vehicles, even safe houses for other players to use. You can also donate items and vehicles to shared lockers for other players to pick them up. This definitely goes along with the game's theme of connecting people and helping each other out, yet still remaining totally isolated and never meeting face to face. But the best part is that you can help people with the construction of their bridge or highway system, and then just use it yourself. Look at this. Somebody started building a bridge here, which is definitely a good idea because I really hate this chasm, and I'm just gonna finish the construction. Not because I want to help them out, I just really want to use it myself. And look at that. I am Sam Bridges, bitches.
What the fuck?
Now, aside from the fact that you also benefit from doing this, there is another incentive of helping other players in the form of the Black Mirror-esque like system, where you exchange likes with other players every time you see anything that they leave lying around. The higher your like level becomes, the more your skills and abilities increase. But the most common interactive element that you'll see will be these signs that are left by other players. Some give you a speed boost, stamina boost, or simply warn you of a bad road up ahead. It's a nice feeling to climb a mountain and then see a sign that someone left, just to know that somebody out there was actually here and knows what you just went through. It's like an enemy mine when Dennis Quaid finds a Pepsi can on a remote alien planet and is just like, holy fucking shit! Speaking of story, I'm not usually a big fan of story in games. You know why? Because they're never like this. Not only does Death Stranding actually have a lot of profound things to say, but you also can't deny that it's just the weirdest game ever made. This game takes some of the most disturbing, bizarre, and disgusting things that you can imagine, and it rolls them all up into a nice burrito of what the fuck. For a while, you might think that some things in this game make no sense and are just there for the sake of being weird, like these severed baby dolls. But by the end of the game, every single thing is explained in detail, and the story comes together almost miraculously. Every delivery you make also has its own story. Each time you bring cargo to people, their reactions tend to vary. Most people are really thankful, telling you you're a lifesaver or that you're an inspirational legend. Others tell you to fuck off, and that they'll never join your dirty UCA or the chiral network. It's well-rounded, but the driving force in this story is the main character Sam. In the beginning, he's just a reluctant, stone-cold badass who doesn't care about anyone, but having to take care of the baby pushes him through quite the arc, and he ends up becoming a symbol of humanity and connecting people. People are always telling Sam not to get attached to his bridge baby, that it's only equipment and will have to be disposed of soon. But Sam does become attached, and he even inspires other people to value compassion and connectedness. He even inspires more people to become porters, and you eventually start to see more people like you walking around. Now, as for the casting in this game, not only is Mads Mikkelsen in the game, but he is in it a shitload. It's just glorious. And if you're wondering why I'm saying Mads Mikkelsen instead of Mads Mikkelsen, it's because that is the correct pronunciation. I will not disrespect Mads Mikkelsen by butchering his name, even though I'm probably still butchering it. Another thing I noticed about the characters in this game is that they're all pretty steeped in mystery. The game does a good job at making you think that anybody could turn bad and be the villain. And by the end, you might be surprised at how those things turn out. It does not go the way you think it's gonna go. But the more you play Death Stranding, the more you enjoy it. The story gets better and better, and you're constantly unlocking game-changing items, like the ability to craft vehicles, better and better weaponry, backpack customization. It is impossible to cover all the things that make this game great. I seriously cannot do it. We'll be here for days. But as for the things I don't like about Death Stranding, there are actually a couple. I will warn you, though, that all of these complaints also happen to be spoilers. So if you haven't played the game yet, you might as well stop watching now and just pretend that I loved everything and go into it on a totally positive note. Now, although the story is impressive and the very ending definitely made me cry like a bitch, there were also times when things became a little too Kingdom Heartsy for my taste. This person is really that person is also this person was that person and this person combined, this person is really that thing. There was just a little too much of that, in my opinion. But again, everything is explained to you at some point, and the game does a decent job at hammering home this information until any confusion just washes away. But some of the explanations were a little convoluted.
A seam has formed from my beach and the beaches of every soul in America.
All right.
And soon it will be inundated by a vast surge of antimatter starting here.
Okay. There were too many scenes of Sam waking up in this game. He wakes up in bed, wakes up on beaches, wakes up in a battlefield, wakes up on dirt, wakes up in the grass, wakes up on a rock, wakes up in a field, wakes up floating in midair. We get it. He's woke. Sometimes he would wake up multiple times in a row. There'd be a cutscene of him waking up, and then another one right after. I mean, the amount of beach naps this guy must have taken. You know when a girl doesn't text you back and then she says she took a nap on the beach? That's this guy. My only other real complaint about this game, and this is definitely a spoiler as it's related to one of the final bosses, but I really do not care for these fight sequences that involve murdering a single button on my controller. Red Dead 2 pulled the same shit in the final battle with Micah, just having to mash a single button over and over again until your fingers are about to fall off. Look, Hideo, I just bought this controller like a little over a month ago, and I feel like I just went through a year of use just in that one fight with Higgs. It's too much. But that's about it. I completely understand if this game is not your cup of tea, but I think some people just took it way too far when it came to their criticism of it. In fact, the IGN video review is filled with questionable moments.
Certainly when ads for actor Norman Reedus' real-life TV show appear whenever Sam uses the toilet, it's clear that it's Kojima who's the one who's taking the piss.
Okay, not even I would make a pun as corny as that. And my favorite band is Korn. Ugh, that's unfunny and untrue.
The opening hours are so ploddingly paced that it makes the whole thing seem like a personal attack on the speedrunning community.
Oh, the poor speedrunning community feels attacked because they can't rush through a game. How will they live their lives?
But you really need to work incredibly hard to enjoy a lot of it, because so much of Death Stranding feels convoluted and requires far more effort than it has any right to.
In terms of the story, maybe, but not in terms of the gameplay. I'm a complete idiot, and I understood everything in the game with minimal effort.
Not only does Sam's personal inventory very easily become a comically oversized Jenga tower of cases teetering on his back.
That is not a comically oversized Jenga tower. This is a comically oversized Jenga tower. But this barely ever even happens in the game. Maybe like one time towards the beginning.
But its direct influence on his balance and momentum means
why are you running?
Becomes the challenge.
Slow down. Oh my god.
Making the act of taking a short walk up a slight hill feel more like trying to push a wheelbarrow full of bricks up a flight of stairs.
What are you doing? Press the buttons. You have no clue how to play this game.
The game has ladders. Think about this. This is art, people. The ladder, if you think about it, it's a symbolic. It's a metaphor for your life. The packages he has on his back, that's a metaphor for the struggles that you go through every day. All right? Kojima is on a whole nother level that you guys aren't even seeing. Look, those packages symbolize taxes, okay?
No. The game is not good because everything's a metaphor. It's good because it's really addictive. It's good because it has great world building and the story's unique and gets you invested. It's good because it's a wide open sandbox that lets you have a lot of creativity and freedom. It's good because it has a deep progression system that's seriously rewarding. It's good because there's no pre-existing genre to peg it to and it paves new ground. Don't worry guys, I'm not going down this hole again. Alright, last one, I promise.
Now last week the reviews came out and I was just completely disgusted by these reviews. The game's boring, the game's not fun, this game's a walking sim. My man said it's not a fun game, but yet he gave it a 90. You can't sit here and say, oh yeah, the game not fun bro, but I'm gonna give it a 90. Man, this game's boring, but I'm gonna have to give it 100.
Okay, I don't think you read the entire review. One, because it's in Italian, and two, they never once say that it's not fun. And they go into immense detail about why they loved the game.
Y'all love Kojima. Y'all love him. Y'all idolize him. Y'all see him as like this god. You know? This false god.
I have no doubt Kojima would laugh really hard if he saw this.
Why are we getting on our knees sucking toes? Why are we sucking the toes of Kojima? Why? Why are we sucking toes? Why are we sucking toes? Why are we sucking the toes of Kojima?
Why are you so obsessed with toe sucking?
Y'all just love slobbing all over those toes?
Oh my god.
What are y'all doing? Okay, so why are we even getting on our knees sucking toes?
I don't know. I really don't know why.
I don't know what is the deal with these Kojima boys, these Kojima toe suckers.
Okay, enough with the toes.
If you went out and bought this game, or you pre-ordered this game, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. You might need to go to a doctor. You might need to get your head checked.
Hey, Urkel, you didn't even play the game before you made this video.
If you went out and bought this game, or you pre-ordered this game,
And you're getting mad that people liked it. Yeah, you're sane. Death Stranding is not a perfect game, but it's a damn good one. It may not hit every mark, but it hits more than enough of them. It may not be for everybody, but the people who like it really like it. What's really incredible is that although the game might frustrate you at times, you'll still have a really hard time putting the controller down, because it somehow manages to reward you for its challenges. If you do take the time to learn all its systems, to see how deep the story and the gameplay go, to build as much as you can, it's impossible to deny that this is a real achievement in game design. This is a game that should be really buggy, and it really is not. And although the story might get a little convoluted at times, the sheer ambition of it and the fact that it does all come together is a marvel in itself. I am the furthest thing from a Kojima fanboy. I liked the first 2 Metal Gear Solids. The rest were decent, but this game really felt special. And I'm really happy that his team was able to achieve this much after possibly being severely dicked over by Konami. Some people were disappointed with this game, but personally, Death Stranding reminded me why I play video games in the first place. And Konami, you can go fuck yourself. Please make another Mystical Ninja.